Hey guys, and welcome to term 3 at the Loft House. My intention over the next term is to give you guys a weekly video, 10 to 15 minutes, to reinforce what we're doing in class and help you to start developing a home practice. Today we're just going to start easily. We're going to cover the stuff we've done during the week at class, and this week has been all about integration, integrating the big muscles with the little muscles, starting to introduce our hip flexors to our abdominals and use them as an ally rather than our enemy. So here we go. I'm going to use a ball today. You guys can use either a pillow off your couch or a pillow off the bed. Both of them work just as well. Instead of the ball, you'll be squashing the pillow in like this and putting it into your hips, behind your knee, and all the places that I'm using the ball in. Let's get started. You're going to lie on your mat, find a neutral spine, so the pelvis finds this neutral position, working with the glutes, the sit bone connection, and with the abdominal connection to keep a nice neutral and buoyant pelvis. I'm going to take the ball first and place it under the heels, squashing the ball gently between your heels and your bottom. Then make sure my pelvis maintains a neutral position, make sure my spine maintains neutral and doesn't come off the floor or flatten deeply into the floor. If you'd like to, you can use a pillow to rest your head on. You can use your hands behind your head, or you can keep your head on the floor. So I'm going to start by taking my arms to the sky, turning the little fingers in and employing that beautiful external oblique, internal obliques, the oblique muscles around the rib cage. I'm going to work through the heels and try and activate through Mula Bandha, try and activate through the perineum to drive as I exhale the heels towards the bottom and the knees towards the chest. The aim here is not to bring the bottom off the floor, but just feel the contour of the pelvis as the heels drive into the bottom and the knees travel towards the chest. You'll find that the bottom will rise very gently and the deep abdominals will engage. That area below the belly button and the pubic bone, want to feel the spread through the pelvis, the hollowing of the belly, and at no point do we let our belly bulge to the sky or the shoulders and the neck creep up towards the sky. We're going to keep a nice long elongated neck, drive as we exhale, heels towards the bottom. As we take the feet back, feel the neutral spine. So feel the difference between the neutral spine and that nice flex position in the spine. We're going to take our toes back. This time, if you're comfortable, we lock down through the rib cage. Take the toes a little further, making sure the back does not arch off the ground. This will be strong connection from the pubic bone to belly, and we're keeping those heels just very gently pressing into that ball or your cushion. If you want to add a variation, you can bring the head up, put it on your pillow, or take it behind with the hands supporting the neck. You can take your arms down towards the floor, tuck the chin, let the head follow the body, driving up and bringing the knees still in towards the chest, working through those heels. You can take the toes to tickle the floor or low down towards the ground. Take the arms towards the sky, locking down through the rib cage very gently. Make sure that the sit bones are staying together. We're denying access, activating through the belly, and working the rib cage very strongly. Exhaling to exert the extension. Ooh, that strong pressure, or the effort, and inhaling to open up strongly, making sure that line maintains a strong connection through breastbone and pubic bone. Here, you can continue to keep going, guys. You can work 5 more, or you can go with me and go a little more slowly. Slower, slower, slower. We can try and hold it up a little higher. Work the heels a little more towards the bottom and try a couple of little crunches just from that heel connection. I'll take my hands away so you can see what my back does. And I'm rolling, heels digging in, driving the knees to the chest, maintaining the shoulders up away from the floor, and making sure the neck doesn't suffer. Working that strong connection through inner thighs, heels, sit bones, belly, deep, deep groin. Holding strong. And then let's hold it up one more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the feet down. Give yourself just a little shake out. And roll the bottom up. Ooh, just wiggling around into that spine. Right, we're going to make a variation. We're going to take the ball now, or your pillow, between your thigh and your belly. So integrating the hip flexors and trying to help them to come in with the support of the bottom of the belly. So we take the left leg towards the sky, just a 45-degree. Knee can be bent or you can straighten it strongly. The hip flexor, if I were to work it in isolation, this is what would happen. I'd be using my leg to drive into that ball. I don't want to work the hip flexor in isolation. I want to work it with the support from the glutes, support from those deep external rotators of the hip, the deep this deep central line, and that strong connection through the sit bones. So I'm going to take a breath in, exhale, activate through sit bones, through the central line, drive the knee towards the chest, feel that the bottom wants to lift and roll following the contour of that pelvis. We're going to inhale and lower it back down. And we're going to exhale, just feel that action through, a little bit of warmth through that right hip flexor, and a strong connection through the sit bones as we wrap under the bottom, traveling up through that strong central line. You can again add the variations of bringing the head up and doing a deeper crunch with the shoulder blades involved. Make sure that we're protracting the shoulder blades, wrapping them almost around the rib cage. So we feel the ribs engulfing the central line and crunching up. Make sure there's no leaking through the sit bones. Make sure we're holding up strong through the perineum, through the mulla bandha. Keep it strong, active and rhythmical. Beautiful, guys. You're going to do 5 or 6, you're going to do 7 or 10. Swap it over. Take the ball between the left knee and the thigh. Have this right leg strong. Watch the belly here. You guys have a good view now of my spine and my belly. Notice my spine never lifts off the floor. Holding strong, neutral position. Pubic bone remains buoyant with the support from underneath. Tighten this thigh or let it relax. It doesn't matter. Big breath. We exhale. Gather all the power from sit bones. Drive through the central line. Bring it up. You can use your hands behind your head again. You can take the arms long and crunch it through. And we're working to drive pelvis and the hip flexor, squashing that ball. Seeing if you can get any of that beautiful lift out of the bottom. You don't have to work it hard. Make sure there's no bulge in the belly. Make sure the sit bones never separate. Driving up gently through that central line. Pressing it up. The right leg only follows the drive from the left leg, following that contour of the pelvis as it rolls on the ground. And try again, 5 or 6, 7 or 10, working it through on that left side. When you release from this, you should feel not an overactivity of that hip flexor, but just a warmth through this area. Guys, we're going to take that into a different position. So give your knees a bit of a hug, roll on that back, make sure the lower back's nice and relaxed, and wiggle the head around, no stiffness through the neck. If you're comfortable, we're going to take that ball in between the knees. You guys can choose to roll onto your side or very carefully work through a strong roll up, activating to the belly, no bulge, squeeze the ball to help the inner thigh access that pelvic floor in the belly and open up nice and tall. We're going to lift the chest, support with the rib cage, hollow the belly and squeeze that ball, work the inner thighs. You can alternately hold your legs, hold under the thighs or hold onto their feet. Open the chest and work it strong. Squeeze the ball still and hold. You can work any variation. Arms wherever you want to be. Tighten through the thighs, belly strong, back strong. Bring it back. See how long you can hold it for. Let's try one more. Let's try any variation for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring it down. Shake it out. Release the ball. And just have a little rest. Wiggle from side to side. We're going to come around into a soft plank position. So you're going to take the ball or your pillow and place it just between the ankles now. So we're going to put the block or the ball between the ankles. Hands come forwards and find your nice dog hands. So that pads of your fingers, knuckles of the fingers, strong through the entire index finger, and a nice suction cup through the palm of the hand. Heel the hands strong on the ground, and we have the hands slightly in front of the shoulders. Wrap the underarms in towards the chest. Elbows face just slightly forwards, 45-degree angle with those elbow creases, and we hold it strong. Slight protraction in the shoulders, very strong connection through the central line. Squeeze into those ankles and let's press it back towards your plank. Adjusting your feet so you find a nice comfortable position. Flatten into the chest a little, squeeze into the inner thighs, squeeze into the ankles and feel that bottom wrap coming all the way around in through the central line, feeding to the throat lock up into the front of the neck. The deep cervical flexors working hard to maintain a long and strong neck. You're going to hold it just for 5, 4, squeeze that ball, 3, little harder, 2, flatten the chest, open the breastbone, and then when we come down, don't come down with a saggy back and a bum pushing backwards. Come down with that tuck of the pelvis, squeeze and crunch into the belly. And let's push it back just for a rest out of those wrists. Give the wrists a nice little roll around. And shake them out a little bit. Let's take it back up. Adjust through the pads of the fingers. Index finger. Find a nice neutral position in the spine. Blades are strong. Wrap the underarms around towards the chest. Let's squeeze that ball again, hollow into the belly and push it back. Remember, we're trying to disappear weight out of our body. So if we weigh, say, 60 kilos, 20 kilos feet, 20 kilos knees, 20 kilos hands. Squeeze the ball to take 20 kilos out of your knees, but don't distribute it through your hands and your feet. Take it into your core. Take it and disappear it like a magic trick. We've just lost 20 kilos. Squeeze into the heels. Wrap them towards each other. Open through the front of that pelvis like a lotus. You guys know that from this week. Push through the crown, push through the heels. Make that strong tail crown connection for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly tuck the pelvis, crunch the knees forwards, 20 kilos, hands and feet, and then land it, and then relax the core, allowing the body to come back to an even distribution of weight through hands, knees and feet. One more time before we move on a little bit more challenging. So wrap the underarms under. If this is too strong on the wrists, come down to the elbows and practice exactly the same in an elbow plank. Otherwise, hands down, fingers spread, index finger points forward, squeeze into that ball, activate through the inner thigh, find the central line, find your cross lock and put on all your braces. Let's wrap it through, push it back and drive through those heels. Flatten into that chest without losing it in the back or the guts. Tuck that bum under, give support from those hip bones, wrap the elbows around, work out where those underarms are for 5, 4, 3, push back through the heels, 2, and 1. Release it with that tuck through the pelvis, curling knees back to the floor, and then relax. Push the bottom backwards. You can sit on the ball or the cushion and let the head relax towards the floor. Give the wrists a really good shake out. Roll them around. Press them each side, making fists and spreading them widely. And then let's gently curl the body back up. And I'll work towards the Chaturanga push-ups. The Chaturanga push-up really requires strength through the triceps and through the mid-back muscles. We're going to take that ball and we may as well put it between our knees. 2 variations, guys. You can do this on your knees or we can do it on our feet. I'll show you the knees. So we're going to bring our hands in a fraction. Generally, I have the hands forwards of the shoulders. Bring them under the shoulders. Let's take our bodies over the top like a strong cat curl, protracting. Elongate through the back of the neck and tuck into the chin. Let's wrap the elbows in strongly, push the spine up, hollow the belly, squeeze the ball, and bring the elbows in like you could take your waist to touch on top of the elbows. Hollow the belly though, make a strong bridge, like a big tall ship's going to go underneath. And then we push the chest up and open strongly. Keep that connection through your belly. Go down, over the top, head down, crunch, and push up. So we're giving as much weight as possible into those triceps. Pads of your fingers are strong into the floor, belly strong, over the top with the mid back and up. So everything from my bra line down is staying pretty much still, and the body's just tipping over the top of my hands, working the triceps. Have a rest when you're done, 5 or 6. Let's go again. If you want to curl over the top, make that connection. I'm going to show you the variation moving up towards the toes. You can keep the ball between the legs or cushion or take it out. So hands positioned under the shoulders pretty much. Elbows wrap in, underarms are strong. Continue the same, tuck into the pelvis and working on for your knees, or come up strong up onto the tops of your toes or onto the tops of the feet here like this. So your choice. We're going to come over the top, elbows wrap in, strong through that chest, strong protraction of the shoulder blades. Let's go over the top and bring the head down to touch or move towards the floor. Hold it, then use the triceps and lift the chest forwards. Let's go down. So your hips stay high and tall, poised tall, like you've got a big bridge that a tall ship's going to go underneath. You can't drop the pelvis. 3, let's try 5 of them. Push it up, use the block. And 1 more, over the top, open the chest, crunch back into the knees, using the pelvis, using the belly, and push it back for a nice soft stretch. You can choose to work another 5, or you can have another rest, guys. I'm going to move on and show you another little variation for a Chaturanga preparation. So let's come up over the top. Let's see if we can find ourselves high in a dog. You can continue to use the ball between the legs or the cushion to keep that inner thigh connection and access up into the pelvic floor and the core. So let's take our arms strong, underarms wrap in. Find a strong dog, feeling You've got a connection from your thighs to your ribs, the hollow through the belly, the sit bones driving up towards the sky, tailbone trying to hook around, activating into the deep pelvic muscles. We're going to take it strong, up onto the toes. Sharp, when you come to the toes, make sure your body doesn't fall forwards. Let's go high and drive the thighs towards your chest and rock the heels back. Let's go high, driving thighs towards your ribs, towards your chest, and push it back. Keep the arms strong, underarms wrapped, again high, and then back down. And then high, up into the pelvis, tilting those sit bones sharp and high, keeping strength through and denying access. Sit bones are strong. One more time, up we go, up high, out of the toes, wrap the elbows and then bring the body slightly forwards, lock it in and hold. Hold for 5, 4, 3, don't lose the belly connection, 2, 1, don't crowd the neck, push it back up and drive. Sit bones high, underarms wrap and push your heels back towards the floor. Again, rest if you need to, take pressure out of the hands if you need to. Inhale, up we go, sharp and high, driving thighs towards your ribs. Exhale, we're going to bring our arms around, look forwards, wrap into the elbows and bring the eyes down, look forwards, a little higher. If I lose the belly, it looks like that. You're going to keep the belly on. Blades are strong, bums high, inner thighs are strong. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push it back up, bums up high, inner thighs strong, head down low, woohoo, and then bring it all the way back down towards the floor. Well done, guys. Give the wrists a really good shake out. That was well done. I'm puffing a little bit. So let's take that ball away and let's have one more little go here. Just another variation to try and activate these hip flexors. So hip flexors want to be our friends. They don't want to be our enemies. We want to work them with our abdominals. So we're going to try and take our right leg up towards the sky and then bring it back down. This action is purely hip flexor. If I didn't hold my belly in, what would happen was the head or the leg would lift and my back would come off the ground. And I can feel my hip flexor becoming active. When I hold the rib cage down, pubic bone towards my nose, soft neutral spine, but you won't see any gap, my leg lifts and I maintain a strong neutral position. And this way I'm working the abdominal muscles, particularly that cross lock from the left rib, to move that right foot up towards the sky. No pressure in the hip flexor, but certainly work from it, reinforced by the flesh of that bottom into the crack, the deep abdominals, that pelvic floor, and that strong cross connection from the opposite rib. So you guys, we're going to continue. You can work 4, 5, 10 of them, swapping over to the other side when you're ready, or you can choose, you can put your pillow or your ball behind your head so you can check in on that belly and make sure at no point does it stick forwards and do you do the exercise like this. You want to keep ribs down, pubic bone strong. Make sure this is a consequence, the leg lifting is a consequence of your bottom, your pelvic floor, your cross lock, your belly all working together. Feel like a cryovac, really spreading that front flesh of your pelvis into that pubic bone. You can, if you're comfortable, try to work both legs up, hovering with that buoyant pelvis. We're going to try and bring our legs down towards the floor. At this point, don't tip at the pelvis, don't arch the spine, don't let the rib cage detach from the pelvis. Lock them in, hold them, and take those feet down. You might get to here and think this is too much and just send one leg down towards the floor. You might take your hands and put them to the ground for extra support. You might challenge yourself and have your hands to the sky, hands over the head. The harder you hold your legs strong and tight, working even that soft plie position with the external rotation through the hips, the more you will access this external oblique and this strong oblique muscle through the abdominals. Hands where you want to, wherever you're comfortable. Easiest variation, hardest variation, trying to keep the back of your hands on the floor. You can even take your pillow or your ball, hold it out behind you and lock in strong with the shoulder blades. Hollow the belly, big breath. We exhale and pull. Pubic bone to your nose as your legs travel towards the floor. Lock into the rib cage. Try not to let daylight come between your spine and the floor. Don't push it in hard. Just lock those ribs and that pubic bone. Beautiful. Let's squeeze through the pelvis. Bring it back up. Lock into the ribs and bring those legs up. Tighter, stronger legs. Exhale and take it down, guys. Beautiful. You can use your hands. You can bring them up if you need support. If you need to exaggerate this action through the ribs, and then pull up. No light through your back. Hands on the ground for the easiest variation. Legs come down. Lock your legs together. Do not let your heels or your big toe knuckles come apart. Tuck into the chin. Try to make sure this doesn't happen. You don't strain. Keep the chin tucked. No pressure through the back of that neck. One more. Let's take it down. Tighten into the thighs. Lock pubic bone to rib cage. Remember your variations. Knees are bent, or one leg's doing the work. Arms down the ground if you can for the hardest variation. Lock it in. Bring it up. Feel the ribs caving into that central line. I think we've got one more in us. Let's go. Ribs are down, blades are strong, legs are strong. Tighten the thighs, use the bum, use the reinforcement through those bottom muscles to take the feet down, tap the floor and bring it back up. Beautiful. Give the knees a good hug. Oh, roll on the back just to release and open into that pelvis. Let's take that right leg long. Left knee comes across the body. And when we twist, make sure that your hips come back to center. Knee can come across. Open the left arm towards the floor, pressing the shoulder blade towards the floor. Eyes can turn around and look, and we can hold that leg. We can straighten it, take hold of the foot, the leg, keep the knee bent if you need to. Working on a diagonal to make a longer line through, and open this left hip away from your waist to create more space in the spine, tucking that sit bone of the left leg into that right inner thigh. Enjoy it. And then gently, let's bring this knee, drag it back up around towards the chest, bring it back into center. Let's take the other side, knee comes to the chest. Start with a nice centered pelvis, let's roll to the side. Notice your hips will go off center, so let's shift our hips back in line with our shoulder. Take the leg across, adjust the mid back and work the right shoulder blade towards the floor. You can lay your hand down, palm up or down. Use your hands to push this waist longer. Bring the sit bone into the inner thigh and make a little longer connection through that spine. Eyes can look where you want to. Enjoy the stretch. Play with the diagonals. Remember, a stretch is where you put your body to target the muscles that you want to stretch. Make sure you just feel a beautiful, nice opening and not a strain. Let's hollow the belly. Use the hand if you need to gather that knee back up. Bring it into the chest and bring the body back around. Here, very gently, let's give the knees a good little hug and roll the body up, coming over onto all fours. Let's take our hands down to the floor, elbows a little wider, and the elbows support the shoulders. The underarms wrapped downwards. Push and press the shoulders down away from the ears, lengthen the neck, and gently take your nose down towards the floor. If there's any pinch in your shoulders or neck, come up high and rest on the elbows and just work that action through the shoulder blades, sinking your spine between the shoulder blades. Otherwise, chest moves deeper. Nose, cheek, or maybe the chin down towards the floor. If you're comfortable here, we're aiming to let lower backs be passive except for the action of the abdominals. So the lower back isn't forced into extension. The lower back is falling to extension as we work through the mid back. Belly stays strong, inner thighs are on, and we're denying access through the sit bones. You can take your arms further forwards. You might find that this is as far as we go today, and that's fantastic, guys. Head can drop down, nose, chin, cheeks, and soften the elbows. Roll the underarms down. You might find that you can creep your fingers further forwards, keeping the bottom high on top of your knees and adjusting to take your breastbone, your chest, your cheek, your chin, your nose towards the floor as you're comfortable. So just enjoying that beautiful mid-back extension, working it into the shoulders without any pressure in the neck whatsoever. Remember, you always need to be in control of the stretch, so don't fall into the stretch. Flexibility is about the strength around the joints as they move through their range of movement, not the ability to push a joint beyond where you can capably hold it with your own muscles. So activate through the inner thighs, through the pelvic floor, up into the sit bones, holding as you want to. Enjoy and breathe. Try and breathe into the back ribs. So the ribs will be compressing toward each other, closing gaps between. If we can drive our breath into the back body, in this position, we can create space while opening into mid-back extension. Absolutely beautiful, guys. Very gently to come out, always use your pelvis. So tuck the pelvis under, feeling that lightness coming out of the body. Gently walk the hands backwards. Ooh, and then return it back down to your knees into that active child pose. So making space at the hips, at the knees, and holding it down. Ooh, very nice rest. Stay as long in the child pose as you want to, or feel free now to enjoy any other positions or any other stretches or exercises that you might remember from the week, or be encouraged to use your own body's wisdom and move wherever or however your body wants to. So thanks, guys. Namaste. And I will see you next week for more.